Okay, last video of the day, science. Are you so excited? I'm so excited. Okay, because we're going to freeze a flour and we're going to freeze some orange juice. So you will need your flour. It's the only flour I have. I know it's very pretty. I felt very sad for cutting it, but I said, I'm sorry, flour. It's in the name of science that I have to do this to you. So I don't know what this is called, but I have my flour. And I told you I didn't have ice cube trays, so I have my little plastic container of orange juice, little Tupperware of orange juice. Okay, so you will need that. Paper plate, remember to, because you don't want to just stick a flour in your refrigerator and the orange juice in the refrigerator just like that. If you have an ice cube tray, that's great. You don't have to use all the ice cube trays for it, but you can. So what we're going to do today is we're going to fill out our materials, write the question we need to ask, and we're going to observe what they look like before they freeze. Okay, observe what they look like before they freeze. That's why we didn't freeze them last night. We'll freeze them tonight. So our materials, so you should have page 181, sorry, not 181, page 81 in science and your materials. So you have materials, you need a flour, and some kind of liquid. I have orange juice. If you have milk or water or apple juice or tea, whatever you have will work. And an ice cube tray or a plastic container. I have a plastic container. You don't want to use glass. You want to either use plastic or metal. When I was a kid, ice cube trays were made of metal. And a paper plate. To put them on in the refrigerator so they are not sitting on top of the chicken or pizza or whatever else is in there. Okay, so those are your materials. Okay, now we're going to ask a question. What are we trying to find out? We're trying to find out what happens to materials when they are cooled, and we're trying to find out what happens to a solid. This is a solid, and a liquid. So they're different kinds of materials, right? So our question could be, what happens to different materials when they are cooled? What happens to different materials when they are cooled? Okay, don't forget to capitalize the what and put a question mark at the end. A lot of you aren't doing that. Okay, so now we need to observe what properties these materials have. So we've already talked about properties, right? So let's look at texture, flexibility, things like that. So let's look at the solid first. So we're going to fill out the solid. Okay, the solid it's solid. Is it hard? Well, the stem is hard. The petals they could be stiff. Soft, right? So my solid is hard stem, soft petals. Okay, not very flexible on the stem. Oh, that little part is. And I don't want to bend too much of that, so little flexible. A little flexible. So that's my flour. Your flour could be something different. You could have stiff or stiff flour, or maybe you're using leaves. Maybe you're using a leaf that you found, a green leaf rather than a flower if you don't have flowers. So that's fine too. A big leaf is fine also. And those are more stiff and those aren't very flexible. That's Missy. Sirens are going by, so Missy is, I don't know if you can hear the howling, but that's Missy. So now let's look at our liquid. Our liquid takes the shape of its container, right? If I were to put this in an ice cube tray, it would look different. If I was to put this in a glass, it probably wouldn't look half full. It would look very small. So takes the shape of the container. Takes the shape of the container. I think that's all I would put for that, okay? Because you can't really do anything else with a liquid. You can't touch it, or, well, you can, but it's wet. All liquid is wet. So that's all we're doing for today, is page 81. Tomorrow, we will take our flour and orange juice out of the freezer, and we will write down our results, okay? So I'm gonna go put my flour and orange juice in the freezer. You should put your flour and orange juice in the freezer, or your water, whatever you have. And tomorrow at this time, we will do this again, because it should be in there for at least a day, overnight at least, okay? So don't put it in first thing tomorrow morning and think it's gonna freeze, because it probably won't. So it needs to be in there for at least overnight, if not a whole day, okay? So we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.